to see if I can hold two things at one time. So I am not the presenter, but I want to welcome you to here. My job is to point out the app, if you haven't downloaded it yet, which most people have because it's the second day, but just in case you're new. And the most important part about the app, other than your itinerary and keeping you on track, is the two buttons at the very bottom of each session. One is the session survey, which we hope you will fill out for us and give feedback to both the conference and to the presenters. But the other is the Q&A, and that's just not for questions right now. It's for comments or anything else you want to pass on. So please, if you get a aha moment at 3 a.m. or some other time, pick it up, go back to the session and post your item in the Q&A so that they have it. So thank you. And I'm going to turn this over to Taylor.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. How are we doing? Eddie knows we were a little light in the first session there, so thank you. Yeah, there was I didn't hear any snores, but we were close. So this will be fairly interactive and a little different. If any of that scares you, feel free to jump out of the room now. But you can already see we've got some props on stage here. So my name's Taylor Kendal. I'm with MSU Denver, senior instructional designer, and I'll turn it over to Alex. We'll do some intros, and then we'll get into it.
All right. So Alex McDaniel, senior instructional designer at MSU Denver. Who's heard of MSU Denver? Oh, damn, we can't lie. Okay. Well, good. Our backgrounds are we came into a fairly unique situation. And who here is in a situation where maybe they're overworked and understaffed? Maybe project management is an issue, workload is a little larger than you'd like to see. That's a situation that everyone is sharing, and that's one of the reasons we're sharing one of the solutions that we've come up with.
I saw one hand go up of, are we overworked? Is that honest, or like we're just, I think that's a...
3 projects to do while you're at the conference. Is that what happened?
You're live streaming, yeah.
Yep.
Right. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just there's a reality within education. It's not necessary.
That's the reality right there.
Yep. Is that a work? Yep. That's a work number.
That's a work project right there.
So, yeah, we'll get into kind of the system we developed to help mitigate some of that. There is this sort of tokenomic element behind it that we will not dig into because it gets really complicated. We're digging into it in other ways on other projects in a deeper way, but we won't quite go down that road. It's going to involve tokens and sort of some ideas that come from economics, but the idea behind tokenomics, and for those, that's sort of tied to this idea of Bitcoin right now. Yeah, it gets complex real quick. So we're going to run this session to give you an experience that we try to pass on to faculty, and that is this idea of sort of tokenizing time. And the one thing we realized we had sort of a good handle on was we know how many hours each of us can work in a single day, and tried to be realistic about it. It's not a full 8 hours. We are not sitting and doing work for an entire 8 hours necessarily. So we took into account things like going to the bathroom, and like we'll have a vacation every once in a while and do the things that humans need to do to still be productive. Anyway, so there's this immutable factor of time. And so we said, can we not just tokenize our time and create sort of we call it an interinstitutional micro market economy. And that's sort of the idea. And we're going to let you guys play the role of an inter-conference market economy and sort of devote designate where our time is going to be spent in this session today. That's a proxy for what our faculty experience when we're working with them on sort of course design, and we'll get into some of the programs.
Yep. So to be clear, our project management style, we surrender a lot of control. And we do that by coming down to the one immutable fact of there are only so many hours that we can work in a day.
And keep rolling. I'm going to start handing these out.
And so what we looked at is we said, okay, at the end, and actually the number came out to be about 29 hours per week per individual employee after they get sick, after they go on vacation. after they have meetings that they can't get out of, after they have bodily functions that need to occur. And we really did track the numbers and figured out, okay, this is where we were at. So we took the number of weeks, and we work now in cycles, little miniature economies for project and course development and those kinds of different things. So we figured out what is the total number of hours that we can produce anything in a cycle. And we give each one of those cycles an economy. And we, no kidding, hand out to our constituents, to our customers, to the folks we work with, their portion of the economy. The most interesting, and we'll see where you all vote, of distributing our time in the term of tokens has been leadership, because when you actually say, look, there's a finite number of things that you can task us with or work with us on, it changed every conversation that we've had, from simply, oh, we'll just, here, do this, add this. This said, here's the final sum, and we won't be in control of how it's used. We'll let other people do that. So you're going to now have that experience in this little micro economy. We're going to ask you to come up. And did we distribute any to the online?
Yeah, I was going to ask how many folks are virtual, and then we can allocate some four. Okay,
40.
So let them know collectively they have 2 tokens themselves, which equates to 4 minutes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect. So everyone playing the home game, you're going to be able to vote just like everyone else. You have a proxy. They're going to go ahead and drop your tokens for you. You are now in control of the remainder of this presentation. You now have your piece of the economy, and here's our menu where you can select our services. And this is very analogous to what we do with our projects and different things that we implement on campus and virtual. So now, collectively, amongst yourselves, you can group together, you can band together, you'll get economy of scale. You can drop in the thing that you want for your personal little, hey, I want this. But now, collectively, online and here, you need to determine how we will spend the remainder of this presentation. So on this slide, and for those at home, you should be able to see this from home or your office, wherever you are. We're going to go ahead and have you cast your tokens. Each token represents 2 minutes of this economy. So go ahead and come on up and place into the bucket where you would like to spend your portion of our economy and steer the rest of our conversation.
And we have 3 to 4 minutes probably to discuss and do a little bartering and things if you want to sort of, we're okay with this just being a Q&A session if that's where it needs to go and that's useful. But we have slides built for all 4 of these. Background being just sort of background on how we got here and some of that. The tools, some technology around, we've leveraged a lot of new tools to sort of make this work. And then got some sort of really what this thing looks like in action. So those are sort of the 4 categories. But yeah, take a few minutes and decide how you're going to spend our time. Did you not get any? Uh-oh. They're all distributed, so you've got to go lobby.
And it's interesting. So one of the things that we notice is some groups will have a lot of conversation. Some groups will individually vote for the things that they want. And each time it's a fascinating experience to watch. Something that we have noticed on our campus is that since we have instituted this, we have changed a lot of the culture where, as opposed to folks being more interested in what they can get individually out of our time, they have banded together to collectively get economy of scale with our time. No, that would be actually fascinating. And let's make sure we get the representation from our remote audience.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just let us know, too, if you want to stay seated. We'll have Eddie or Penny. I gave him 2 tokens, so you guys can maybe vote for them here. Let's see what we're working with.
Oh, I love it. So you will not be allowed to have any general questions and answers. So we will fill up the entire. You will not be allowed to have any general questions and answers. We're going to hold you to the economy. So because it was something that this group felt was maybe not as important, and we respect that, and we'll hold you to it. So these make for some fun conversations. So we have 4 minutes for category A.
All right, so I think I want to say you're on A.
Sure.
And I will do this so we can get let's get the timer set up. And we really do try to stay, I mean, we're not down to the second typically, we're talking sort of broader time scales. So, but we do try to stay very tight to sort of how the time is played out. We have to. So we'll stay pretty true to these times. 4. All right.
Okay, so we began, here's 4 minutes of our background. We began in a situation in which we had three to four times more work than we could possibly ever realistically achieve. And we knew that because we tracked the hours. We actually went through and figured out how long does it take to accomplish each kind of task, each kind of project, and built it out. And we were able to very quickly say, look, we're spending, ironically, 80% of our time not doing the things that you're telling us we should be focusing on because of other interruptions, other projects, other asks that come in. And in addition to that, that still doesn't lead to the fact that in order to accomplish everything that's being asked of us, we'd need a team 4 times that size. So, no kidding, this is what we live with. So we came up with this economy idea. We had to boil it down to what is the one thing we cannot change, and that was the number of hours in a day. So when we went through, we figured out how many hours can each person work under each category of job duties and figured it all out and then came back to them and said, look, we'll do anything you want, but here is the limit of number of hours. And in order to do something more, we either need to increase the number of employees or remove other projects. And we're completely agnostic to what you'd like to do. It's okay. We'll let you decide, but you have to live with your decisions. And so that is ultimately the background that we came from in under 4 minutes of the CoDeX economy. The backbone of it is saying 1 hour is 1 token in our economy. But by actually having a currency, by giving it a value and having them give it away, and sometimes we actually use physical tokens, other times we use virtual currency, but they have to purchase the services. And when you sit down and you say, I have 90 tokens for this project, and they go, but I want this and this and this, and you go, well, but you only have 90 tokens. But I want, how do you want to spend your 90 tokens? It brought the scope of projects down to something that they could understand in project management terms that were pretty universal. Everyone kind of understands a budget and how to spend it. And when they purchased these services, they saw value in them. They were keeping the meetings. They were showing up. They were delivering on their portions of it. And it also allowed us to have the conversations of, look, if you want us to do all the work, it'll cost you more tokens, but if you want us to teach you how to do the work, it will cost less tokens because then you'll do the bulk of it. So it allowed us, without argument, to become force multipliers where we could invest in them at their own request. They're saying, please teach me to do more work. And so it was a clever way to approach it in a way that they were very familiar with. And now you'll hear running around the office all the time, well, do we have tokens for that? Do we have tokens for that? Or someone will come and interrupt and they're like, hey, that's going to cost you a token. Oh, okay, no, I'll wait, right? And so it has really done a lot to change culture inside of our institution, inside of our office, and then it has spilled out into other areas. So in 4 minutes or less. Yep. Oh, yes. So we do have, well, we're looking at continuous improvement, right? We didn't jump into and saying, look, we're going to move right into having a Maserati. We said wherever we're at, we're just looking to take one step better. So we always try to have a minimum viable product, right? Whatever we're trying to do, we're trying to get to that next functional thing. And we're not going to wait all the way from nothing to a completed model. We always are looking to say, where can we make immediate advancements and keep things functioning and moving? Very rarely do we have the luxury of any project that can be in a state of complete non-functional until it's 100% done. So we've gone for iterative improvement on all the projects that we do. We do a lot of course design and those kind of elements. And we're done with the 4-minute investment. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Now we can breathe a little bit. We got 10 minutes, I think, 10 minutes to talk some tools. Alex can talk fast. That was perfect for a 4-minute segment. But we can dig into some of these a little deeper. So along with this change, we just realized there was affordances. There were tools that had come to be sort of as we were developing this model. And so we said, let's make sure we build in the affordances of these tools as we're looking to be more efficient from a process standpoint. And so, this is sort of what we were aiming for. And I think we have moments of this. We also have moments where it's like, damn you tools, do what I thought you could. And it doesn't get there. But I think for the most part, day to day, we're pretty happy with some of these. So, there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10. How many are familiar with all 10 of these? How about 9? 8 of these. Anyone familiar with about 8 of them? Penny's getting close. 6. You know about 6 of them? 2 hands for 6 of them. We got 4. Who knows 4 of these? 3. We're at 3. Some of you are like, all of these are foreign. What the hell are you using? So we can go into some depth on a few of these, but I can do a quick rundown. These all don't get used daily. Like I'd say we use, all of these maybe over the course of an entire, say, 6 to 8 month sort of design cycle that we work through, but certainly not daily. The biggest one, top left, who knows that? Slack. So yeah, in fact, we just had a discussion yesterday about like, are we at the point of really needing to invest? What Slack offers for free is pretty powerful, but we might be at the point of realizing we should invest a little further, and it's really become our kind of communication hub, and we're looking to grow. Some of this model, I think, has led to resources coming our way to say, okay, you really have justified that you need more people to do more of this work. So Slack basically is a sort of internal team-based chat platform, and it allows communication to happen rapidly. It allows, it in a way, I think, creates culture within the tool itself that then bleeds into actual day-to-day work. Anyone have examples of does anyone else use Slack sort of as their communication platform internally? A few.
Yep. We have Office too, but that is the stunted little cousin of Slack. Slack is far more effective.
And
good family tree.
The question was, because I saw the make sure the remote audience. The question was, or the statement was that you guys use Microsoft Teams and used Slack and liked it better. Yeah, and I don't know that there's many saying I've got to move away from Slack and get into Teams. That's a pretty uncommon statement, I would think.
Just out of curiosity, how many work in mixed teams? Like some virtual, some physical. Even I'm counting flex days where you have to cross the digital boundary. Really, that few. I'm surprised. We work in an environment where we have remote employees, where we have flex days, where we're in the office, out of the office. We're constantly working while we're here because, hey, the economy doesn't grow or shrink, right? So Slack is an invaluable tool that we use for crossing the physical boundaries with the virtual.
So run through a few more of these. The Noun project is that sort of top middle one with just those black icons. Just a really good open icon library. So really simple visuals that there is nothing you can't find. You throw in a search term in the Noun project. They now have a secondary platform called Lingo that's really a nice sort of asset management tool that's comes along with the Noun project. But just as far as like simple visuals, we all know this idea of dual encoding and why it matters to have like a really representative visual that comes along with text or a video. The Noun project makes that like just really, really simple to find good visuals. big icon libraries for just about any sort of design work. Top right, has anyone made use of the shape of that itself should give it away. Boomerang. Yeah, we've, I think, slowly found more use in it. Didn't quite realize how important it is. The sort of reality of death by email that I think we all sort of live in right now allows for some efficiencies to be built into sort of your email processes. You can schedule emails to go out later. You can have reminders so that it returns an email back to the sort of top of the queue at a certain date. So it lets you just have control over some communication, email communication. It's built into Outlook. It's a Google product, so it's, I think, integrated pretty well across the board. Once you slowly start playing with it, you'll realize you can't really go back. I have, just before we came out, I have 4 or 5 emails that I was like, oh, I don't want to lose track of those. I know we'll probably get some emails stacked up as we're out here. Let's have those get returned in a week. And so the ones that I know I want to revisit, it just sends them back to the top of your inbox, basically. How about the one in the middle there, lower left, or in the middle on the left? IFTTT, anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If this, then that, and that one gets a little nerdy. I wouldn't say we make a ton of use of it, but we've found it integrates with Slack, so a lot of these actually start playing together, and you can really do some interesting things. But if this, then that is just sort of a simple. It takes sort of programming and automation at a sort of programming and coding level to sort of the general user, and you can start building out these processes that. And triggers, so it automates certain things. If I get an email that's from this person, then send a message to in Slack to this person. That's some example like that, just automating some processing. Flipgrid. If you haven't used Flipgrid and you're into video, you can't do much better. I would say sort of Flipgrid, and then down to the right of that, which is this guy, just Apple Clips. Within, I think it's just on the iPhone, but really easy video platforms. Apple Clips, I'm endlessly amazed by the captioning, the automated captioning that comes over. So just for instructors that want to do more frequent interaction with video on a modular weekly basis, really easy to just pull your phone out, say it. You got your transcription. You can modify it if it doesn't quite get a few words right, and then that can get pushed right out to YouTube or somewhere to then be shared in a course. So just two really, Flipgrid's a little more collaborative, but both really good video platforms. Looking at about 2 minutes here, so we'll go quick on these last ones. Lumo Lift, we don't necessarily, this is one I use. I don't know that we're using it across the board, but it's a posture coach. So these aren't just tech tools. It's a really cool little clip that you just throw on. It creates a level plane. Often we sit down and do a lot of work at our machines, and all of a sudden our posture's like this. If it gets off its plane that you've set it at, it'll give you a little buzz, and it reminds you to stand up straight. And health matters in this economy. Yep. We'll go through these quick. H5P is, anyone familiar with H5P? Yeah, project that's gained a lot of traction recently. Fun, interactive assessments, and you can do 1,000 things with it, and it's only growing. Yeah. Anchor is this guy, kind of the latest in audio and podcasting. It's sort of radio for the people is their mantra, but it's the most impressive for those that are podcast junkies like we are. There's never been an easier way to push a podcast out to the world. You literally do it on your phone, and it distributes seamlessly to like every podcasting platform. Really pretty impressive. And then Appearin is the far left there, appear.in. For simple, small web conferencing, it's the lightest weight and most stable that I've found, up against something like Zoom that obviously gets to be expensive and has bigger institutional licenses. If you're at 4 people or less and just want to do small scale web conferencing, Appearin is, it's another one I just keep continually am impressed by. Any thoughts or questions or tools? We got 30 seconds that you feel like might be missing up here. Top 3, like just personal preference, or or we leverage? That's a question. Got it. Top 3. Let's go ahead. Your personal top 3 or work related.
I'm going to say Slack, and one we didn't list because I think it's so integrated inside of everything we do is really Google and the entire Google suite. And then I'm going to say integrating Slack and the entire Google suite as the third one. If I was pressed.
All right, that's time. I got a quick three. I'll do Slack, Boomerang, Appearin are probably my top three. That's not nearly as, I wish that was just like piped over the.
Nope. Okay. We have 22 minutes for the remainder, for the CoDeX in action.
So I think we covered sort of this, but tokenomics-inspired, you're kind of getting the idea that we're leveraging some of the principles and that are becoming popular just sort of in this tokenizing of things. It's a micro market economy, so we are using sort of that sort of principle, but it's on a smaller scale internal to the institution. And yeah, I think we are really looking like, that's not overstated to say we're trying to shift the entire paradigm of what effective, really project management, but instructional design in our case, how that actually works.
And so right here, the cost of not changing how we're doing things is too damn high. If you don't know this meme, it's phenomenal. But let me just ask you, who here is overworked? I mean, legitimately overworked. Pretty much everybody, and the rest of you were typing on your email at the same time, and we'll take that as a vote.
I want to, how does that like manifest? Like what, I think we would admittedly say we're in the same boat. There's a level of energy that I think can come with that, but there are certainly other byproducts that aren't necessarily so positive. So let's be open and honest as we can here. Like what are the side effects of feeling like I'm just really taking on doing more than I think I should as a functional human? Health related, I mean, as far down that road as we can go. What are some of the honest like side effects?
Anxiety.
Biggest, which then becomes a lot of other problems really fast. Sleep deprivation. Eddie's had 427 presentations the last, did I get that number right? That probably cuts into your sleep a little bit. 300, I don't know what it is. 6 or something. Apathy.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about things for those folks at home. The taxonomy of overworked.
And sorry, we didn't want to do Q&A, so I was like, well, we won't get the audience mic out, but thank you. We should. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
there's the emergency where it needs to be happen automatic. So reactive. There's the project that never goes away.
Right.
There's the should be doing.
Right.
And there's the God, I'm stuck in this job, and how do I get out of it? Right. At least those in the taxonomy.
And we had the, I don't know, maybe we'll call it the kabooms taxonomy. We lived in that world, and we were in an environment where almost everything was an emergency. And we just had to say, look, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And we talked with our colleagues at other places, and the commiserating was great. It was, oh, look, we're all kind of under this gun. And we said, well, we know we don't have to be, and what can we do? And so I'm going to give a spoiler alert right now. One of the things that has happened to our team since we began this, we are tripling in size. Because
anxiety, lack of sleep, I see it coming right now.
Because we were finally able to very clearly communicate our value, our workload, and our limits. And once they understood our value and our workload, one of the first things they did was increase our workload because they thought our value was so good. But we were able to clearly communicate our limits along with that. And so our institution and our leadership was willing to invest in what we're doing, and we could very clearly, easily demonstrate what it would take. And they said, we want to do this much more. We said, great. We know to the person how much more we will need to hire. So that made that conversation incredibly easy. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, we're getting into Q&A right now, and we'll do one, but then we're gonna keep moving. And this is the kind of conversations we have to have with faculty.
Yep. So this is the kind of stuff, and this is a great opportunity where we can say, sometimes you want to invest in a project you didn't even know you wanted to invest in, and we'll hold you to it. So we'll kind of keep, and you can find us after, but we'll keep you to as few questions in this as possible because we didn't allocate our resources to it, right? To answer your question, was this kind of a top-down? Was this organic? This was us. We decided on it. We started doing it, and we just didn't not talk about it. It wasn't like a thing we said, oh, can we really kind of have approval to do this? We just started kind of doing it. And then we talked with our leadership, and they're like, oh, that's kind of a neat thing. Yeah. And then we're like, no, we're all in. And we really went with it. And they're like, well, maybe we should talk about it. Like, how many tokens would you like to use to talk about this?
It was very tongue-in-cheek at first, but it's funny how that has evolved now. It's like, oh, no, they're serious. This is everything.
Yeah. And now it has spilled out into so many other areas. So this was entirely bottom up, but almost non-negotiably, because in the end, when they're like, we're not doing tokens, we'd say, well, it's really just hours. And how much do we want to invest in this? And then that was kind of too complex. So they would start using our lingo. They would start talking about tokens, and then we had them. As soon as you can get them to talk about tokens, you have them.
So I'll go through kind of high level of some of the programs that are sort of making up this economy and process, and then I'll let you maybe dive into the real nitty gritty. So as part of this, we realized we can't just say, you have our time, anything you want, come on in and we'll just make it work. It's like, we knew we needed to build some structure into it. So we basically thought through sort of, what buckets typical sort of course design projects fall into. And so these 4 program types came out. So course launch is, as it sounds, it's for courses that don't yet exist. And so we have, sort of what that looks like, and we scope out what time's involved in getting a course off the ground. And so there's, sort of elements of design within that has some flexibility. But for the most part, if they come with, this is a course launch project, we can say, oh, perfect. We know we got to devote, 120 hours, and we know there's going to be this much media, and we've got this much sort of coursework and ID work, and can start to manage it that way, knowing that it's a full sort of ground up course. And then sort of our bread and butter, where QM really is leveraged, is in this course assist program. So these are existing courses going through a just continuous course improvement program. This sort of is the model that I think a lot of us probably utilize in some way. Courses come in, goes to QM for review, we get the recommendation report, sit with the faculty, and again, we know the hours involved in sort of how all these pieces come together. And so yeah, in the end, we then can allocate tokens for specific services. So our IDs or media folks kind of know, okay, this course needs an intro video, this course might need some objective work, this course needs a syllabus sort of refinement. We have services built out that are sort of tied to the QM rubric and allow us to sort of build those services and tie the hours specifically. I may be going in more detail, but I'll let you really dive in with we have a sort of screenshot of some of this on the back end, what it looks like. And then course certify, so full certification. These are the course assist, we just do an internal QM review, and so not quite as intensive, but allows us to get more courses through. Course certify, which we have 6 now, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So we're getting there, but just at our institution, we really have a need for sort of a lot of courses moving from a sort of baseline here. We're like, can we just move the whole thing up a few notches? So don't do as many of those, but and they just require, honestly, we may do more if we weren't under this model, because we just know those take a lot more time. There's a lot of tokens involved. And then course select is sort of the grand poobah of all course design. If we really want to look for like national awards and really push something to the limits and do, some things like H5P might get built in, or, animations. Alex has been working for a while on a business course that is very sort of interactive and has a lot of sort of, you know, intense elements, time intensive elements, but we still have a program for that if that's what folks decide they want to spend their time on. So this is really hard to see, but I'll let Alex kind of describe some of the parts and pieces here.
So we've talked about this on the front end, and what the conversation allows us to do is have the front end to be a lot more easy to understand. On the back end, there's a little bit more management, but it allows us to make those predictors very accurately. So what we do is we track all of our different projects. We're not down to the minute kind of thing, but close enough, right? We want to know general amount of time that it takes for each category of service. How long does it take to deliver an introductory video of this level of quality? And we ballpark these out. We can figure out pretty well what each task takes. And we can build those into larger services like the Course Assist, Course Launch, Course Certify, Course Select. And so we know about how long those kinds of things take. So once we know that data, we can say, now we have a total number of X in the economy, right? So in this specific example, we had a total of 9,720 production hours, 9,720 tokens in this economy. Yep. And so that's the max we can do. And if we have more projects that need to be accomplished, we need to raise the economy. The only way you can raise the economy is by putting more tokens in, by getting more resources. So that conversation just made it incredibly easy with leadership to say, hey, we're happy to do all these other things, but we just need to increase the economy. This is the limit, and this is the unarguable limit. There is no way to get more hours out of the day. So then we were able to say, we would sit down with our various constituents and say, let's figure out how we want to devote this economy. So in the upper left-hand corner, that's our distribution. Where will we distribute this economy? How much of our time would you like us spending on different project categories? And that then allocates the number of hours that we have to those. So we could either say, we'll work on X number of projects and reduce the number of hours, or here's the number of hours we know that it takes to do a project well, so here's the total number of projects we can do. And we could go either way by using this kind of like a hydraulic, right? We could pump into either way. But we ultimately can't go past our economy limit. And this is how we keep people from breaking, right? From working too much. And this is the basic layout. And so we're able to very easily track, very easy to integrate a lot of this. We have a lot of Google spreadsheets that are talking to each other. We toyed with going with other project management software, but it couldn't do what we wanted it to do. And so we built it out. And here's a key thing. Our first cycle did not look anything like our current cycle. We're in cycle number 5 of trying this. We have about 24-week cycles that we're going through. The first cycle was very different. And there was some empty buckets. And we held people to that voting. And they said, but we didn't realize we wanted these other projects. And we said, well, I'm sorry, we'll revisit it next cycle. And next cycle, they would maybe overcompensate. And so it has taken a little bit of time to get the appropriate equilibrium, but what it has allowed us to do is to have the conversations every cycle. And every cycle, there's been we should probably give you more resources. And so that economy has been able to go up and up and up. And that's important. And this whole element facilitates that as we go through, is being able to track the amount of time, the amount of projects, and where we want to devote our time and track it.
And I'd say the sort of next level to this, which I feel like we say every cycle, we're kind of finally getting to the point where we feel like we're stable about how this works, but then we change something for the subsequent cycle. But I think the ultimate power is, this allocation. These are sort of those broader projects. You can see percentage of Course Assist here is a large portion of it, 40-something%. Each of these represent. So this looked very different in other cycles, and it'd be really nice to say, can we build and sort of tie this to outcomes even on a course-to-course or at sort of the student level, to say our allocation this way this is where Eddie knows I think we're moving, is this sort of data-driven model of being able to say, let's turn these knobs a little bit this cycle, try something a little different, and see what the ultimate benefit to the institution is. I think we've just done enough to this point to feel good about just the process on this side. I think that's over the next few years, that's kind of the next step is to be able to turn knobs and feel like we know why we're turning them, as opposed to right now we're just sort of in this exploratory mode of just getting it to feel right for us. But hopefully in time, I think that's the power of it. We can really say we're gonna change the allocation of time, and we know why, based on other metrics that we can get from the institution.
So one of the immediate outcomes has been the investment in our shop and increasing the number of resources, understanding the value of what we do, and that bit of a culture change. The next phases will be able to directly tie our efforts and project types to things like DFW rates, those kinds of things, which is where we really want to go to, and say, we know if we spend more time on this project category, we will decrease DFW rates, or those kinds of things. That's the next step of where we're trying to track this and track this out. So we are getting pretty close to our limit, time-wise. The economy itself and the conversations that it's allowed us to have been very, very positive. The key thing that I think we really had to have open dialogue and open conversations about was that the status quo wasn't working, and that the workforce and the required products and what we are looking to do and the students we're working with are changing at a pace where we realized a static model wouldn't work. And even models that were introduced 5-10 years ago wouldn't work. So we had to try and come up with a model that would be ever fluid, that would allow for changing demands, changing resources, and changing outcomes. And that is where we said, okay, if everything is variable, what is the one thing that is not? And we came back again to the token, to the number of hours. And we built everything around that and have stayed sometimes brutally true to allowing things to ebb and flow, staying true to the economy model and allowing the economy to get stretched thin and to be very scary to relinquish some of that control, but in the end, it's actually allowed for more conversations and better buy-in.
I'd sort of finish with the key here is, this sort of full system, which we're happy, it's just Google Sheets for the most part, so we're happy to share it. But I think the idea is this broader paradigm of, if you take nothing else away, start to explore ways that make you feel like your time is of value. Whether that's this model or anything else that sort of is a flavor of it. I think that's where we're at, of just trying to inspire the idea, like it can be different if it doesn't quite feel like, everybody is happy and productive and the things we know matter. Course design over the next 5 years is it's only going to get more interesting and fragmented, and, other sort of non-degree pathways. And as all that evolves, build flexibility and fluidity into whatever that project management system looks like, and I think be better for it, whether or not it's this exact model. And I'll try to repeat the question. So there was the question was, there's we have this sort of tokenized model and a sort of economy, microeconomy developing from our side, just from a project management side, but is there this secondary market or again, economy developing like outside of our shop with some faculty? And yeah, we have examples of it. It's, it's not like clearly this big group has formed this, but I don't think we'd be against that. We wouldn't stop that from happening if it did.
So there's actually some black market trading that occurs.
That's true.
Where folks will get together and they'll swap hours and some of those kind of things. And we've had people say, look, man, I have 80 tokens for my project, but if we team up, we got 160. What do you think? So we've been able to say, hey, sure, we'll combine them. Go ahead, and then we'll work with you collectively. What they don't realize is they've walked right into collaboration and economy of scale, and we didn't have to force them into it. We've had faculty learning communities come around these kinds of things where they are coming together so they get more tokens and we're able to accommodate a little bit more by investing in them. One of the key shifts that we've had is people trying to steal from the economy, and they don't realize we build it right in. And that is, well, wait a minute. Okay, so if I have you do this, it's going to take 16 tokens. But you said you could teach me to do this in 2 tokens, and then I can do it? Well, then I'm spending 2 tokens. You teach me how to do this, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to save my tokens. You can't fool me. Well, deal, right? Because now we've empowered people. They're so much more effective, and then we're able to do more work for them in other ways. So that kind of conversation has occurred a lot, and it's very, very powerful.
So we will skip right, well, at least give you the meme, but we'll skip right past this. And
wait, let me just take 1 second and ask, would you have voted differently? Or if we were to run this again, would you vote differently on your project categories than what you did this time around? Just raise your hand if you would have maybe voted differently. About a third, about a quarter to a third. Okay, interesting.
I think we're there. I'll throw this up. So I think our emails are on here, aren't they? Yeah. Feel free to reach out, contact us. I think well, we'll see. We may let you know that we have no time in our economy to respond, but feel free to try, and we'll use Boomerang to keep it at the top. Yeah.
Right.
One quick question. Did you have a question in the back?
Oh, no.
Cool.
Okay, we do have time for one question. We cheated. We ran the economy at slightly short. Go ahead.
What do those tokens? What do those tokens actually look like, and how do you allocate them to departments across campus, kind of in a real concrete way?
So there's legit real tokens. Taylor, do you want to maybe even show our token that we use sometimes, like that are right here, or a lot of it is actual virtual. And so we sit down and we talk with them. Here's a project, and we talk to them. Here's your budget right up front, and then we actually move it. We've been toying with the idea of kind of gamifying it a little bit more and actually having little and blink, 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 blink every time they do something. We just haven't had the tokens in our economy to be able to do that. But mainly it's the virtual currency that we talk about. And when we write up the reports, when we're working with the different folks, we're able to very clearly say, here's what your budget started with, and here's where you allocated that money. And every time that we're working with them, we're able to refer back to those tokens. So it's more the concept than the physical, though we would actually love to cross that bridge and actually like make a little bank. And we're there, final countdown. Got Europe in my pocket, that's it. All right. We certainly appreciate everyone's time. We appreciate that you spent your tokens here with us today. And while our economy for this microeconomy will close, once we leave here, please feel free to ask us any questions. And hey, we're on the black market time at that time, so just let us know. Thank you very much. One question for you, was this helpful? Very cool, thank you. Yep, run for it. What's that?